Since the release of Fortnite in 2017, the majority of players have always played on console. Out of 250 million players, 78% of them are on console. 99% of console players play on a controller. In the early days of Fortnite, controller was only limited to the old school building mode. In this mode, you could only build one piece at a time, and you had to switch between them with the triangle button. Obviously, with terrible settings for controller, it led to controller players being very bad at the game, while keyboard and mouse players were getting better and better. Later on, Fortnite added modes like Combat Pro, which was a start to better settings for controller. Even still, it was still extremely hard for controller players to take on the always dominant keyboard and mouse players. In fact, out of 100 people played in the first Winter Royale Fortnite hosted, only 2 of them were controller players. You probably know them as Nick Merckx and Ghost Aiden. The 2 of them were ultimately the best controller players at the time, while everyone else was still struggling just to build. But this all changed on April 11th, 2018. Fortnite released a Builder Pro for controller players, and as the name implies, it made building so much easier. Now once a player hits the switch mode, the bumper and triggers became a building piece each, so players didn't have to switch between build pieces anymore. This led to controller getting so much better, and over 2 years later though, not much has changed for the controller settings. This leads to one question: what are the best settings for controller? Yo, what's up guys, it's Koolaidfn. In this video I'm going to cover what's the best settings for Chapter 2 Season 5 on controller. Settings are really important when it comes to controller because they can greatly impact how good you are as a player. Make sure you watch to the end of the video so that you don't miss anything, and like and subscribe if you're new. Okay guys, so I'm obviously not the best controller player in the world. If I was sure, I would only play controller. But with that being said, I have came up with the best settings that can potentially make you a much better player. Disclaimer, this is claw settings, so if you play with paddles or do not want to play claw for some reason, then this video does not directly apply to you. I still recommend watching the video out though, because there are some very important things that you might not know that I do cover. Okay, getting right into my sensitivities. I use a 1x multiplier for building, so that's going to double my building mode speed. I use a 1.5x multiplier for my editing speed. I use 60% for both my horizontal and vertical look speed. I do not use a boost dampening time. I have never tried that, but I might. And I use 12% on my ADS speeds, and I use exponential with a 12% on my sticks. Most sensitivities are just a preference, so make sure you find the sensitivity that works best for you. Okay, so getting right into my controller layout. I jump using up on the D-pad, which is going to be my left hand index finger, and then I do switch mode with my right hand, which is going to be my right index finger. This is only going to work for a PS4 controller or a PS5 controller because the Xbox controller, the D-pad is down below the joystick, so that's not going to work. But everything else is basically normal layout for everything. I crouch using right stick and edit using left stick. Okay, so when I first switched to these settings, I immediately found out that my aim was super good. I don't know if it's something with the dead zone or the sensitivity, but the aim assist just feels insane. Like, I don't miss SMG shots at all. And then also, when I first switched to it, I barely ever played. Like, right now, I still barely ever play controller. Most of my videos, as you know, are on keyboard and mouse. But if I can get semi-decent with these binds, I'm sure you could become an absolute beast with them. Like, I rarely play controller. I just don't really enjoy it that much, but these binds make you so much better. Okay, and then second off, if you're still playing controller with the default binds and you're using your thumb to hit X and circle to jump and switch mode, I highly recommend you switch off of that. I used to do that, and already I am a such better player than when I used to do that. That is because it's super unoptimal and you have to take your thumb off of your aim joystick just so that you can hit build and stuff, so you won't be able to look around at all. And finally, if you are switching to claw for the first time, a couple tricks that I learned is to try to figure out the best way that you can hold your controller that allows you to be comfortable. Claw can be irritating on your fingers because it is very awkward, but don't hurt yourself when doing it. Find out the best way for you. That is perfectly okay. Just find whatever you like. I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, please subscribe.